Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Dragonfly Radio this morning. I'm your host, Joy Warda. And this morning, I'd like to introduce to you a wonderful individual here in our community in Greater Sudbury, Dawn, who works with, Dawn Corden Connected Living. And she can bring a little bit of insight about mental health, the services she brings to our community, and also about some of the programs she runs here that are pretty awesome. So welcome, Dawn. Thank you for joining us on Dragonfly Radio today.
Thank you, Joy. It's nice to be here.
Can you give us a little bit of background? I know from my personal experience, you do so many things in the community for, well, basically physical and mental wellness and health here. What are some of the programs that are available to some of our aging demographics and in my group and younger?
So I'm a personal trainer, a fitness instructor, a yoga teacher. I'm a health and wellness coach, chief cook and bottle washer.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Now apparently I'm a Facebook guru. Like, I don't know. That's not true. I just made that one. But so I have done a lot of things in the health and wellness community here in Sudbury for, probably maybe 27 years or so.
Wow.
And so I've seen a lot of programs sort of come and go. The trends, but there are a few things that really stick that I notice in not just myself, my clients, but just in the general community. It's always exercise as you can get it, as you can fit it in, and what that means for you. Being active and involved in the community and in your own community doesn't just mean going to the gym and lifting 5-pound weights and running on the treadmill. Exercise can, for a lot of us, just mean going for a really good walk. So there are some staples that will always be consistent, no matter what the trend is, because right now it's all about CrossFit and doing, Tabatas and hardcore workouts in short amounts of time. And that doesn't always work for everybody. So for me, the consistency of, an exercise program that is going to work for you and around you and your own needs, that some time to yourself, a very important part of your day is just to take some really good self-care time. And that doesn't have to be long either. It doesn't have to be complicated. It might mean just going to the deck in the morning with your coffee and just looking out over the view and sitting there and just being grateful for 5 minutes. That's a really wonderful way to incorporate self-care into your day, because that's part of your wellness package. And then community, being involved in your community and being involved in your life. I always say live while you're alive. And that means staying connected to groups, to volunteer organizations, to, little clubs, your neighbors, even if you've never talked to them in 20 years or they're new to you, is to be involved and be connected. So for me, it's like the triangle, and that, no matter what the fitness trends are, no matter what the wellness trends are, that's the trilogy for me that I see what works consistently for everybody.
You have a couple of great programs here in Greater Sudbury. I know at Parkside you also bring in a few different ones for for us that are aging, and then we get up there and age, and in the walking programs with the walking sticks and different things. Do you find personally that those are increasing in nature? Just be that more and more individuals are finding out about different programs, such as the yoga sitting down and the walking with proper, the tools available.
Yeah. So what I'm noticing is people, of course, we're the largest demographic next to, I think it's the teenagers now, or the millennials are the next largest demographic.
Right.
So there's a bit of a gap in between the teenagers and us. So what I'm finding, though, is because we are the largest demographic, we're being a little bit more demanding in the services that are offered to us, because we understand a little bit better that, taking care of your health means a lot. Like, it's your quality of life. So there, I do teach at the Parkside Center. I teach a gentle yoga class for the Parkside group there. I teach at the Y. I teach a hardcore yoga class for some of the younger demographic. I have my own programs here at Connected Living. I've got a chair yoga program. I've got an urban polling yoga and yoga program. I've got gentle seniors, active seniors. I teach also for the health unit a program called the Stand Up for Balance for seniors. That is a fall prevention program, and that is for the older senior who is a little bit more at risk for a fall, and we want to keep you out of the hospital, independent and in your own home. So there are a lot of options out there, for seniors. Sometimes it means just doing a little bit of digging, but that means you have to get out into your community and start connecting so that you can find out where these programs are.
So regardless of how old we are, or our physical condition, what's happening in our lives personally, if someone's interested in staying physically and mentally healthy, there's no reason why you can't. Like, there's no excuse, right? There's something there to fit everybody's needs.
That's right. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean we often get deluded into thinking we have to go out and buy expensive equipment. I need a new pair of yoga pants. I've got to buy a gym membership. I have to go into a gym where I'm not going to feel comfortable around, other people because I may have a little extra weight, or maybe I've got a health condition that prevents me from being able to jump up and down. And that's just not the case. You don't need to do those things. There are a lot of options.
Okay. So what if somebody's interested in doing a one-on-one? What if somebody is homebound? They don't have, maybe there's accessibilities, maybe they're going through a palliative, but they still want to, personal experience myself. I wasn't into yoga and such, but when my mom passed and my mom and dad, then all of a sudden I needed that. And it was my physician that suggested, let's look at mental health and look at, going through those stressors in a wise way without medications and drugs or alcohol. But I do like my bottle of wine. Okay? but like that, so, being healthy and doing it in the right way.
Yeah.
Do you have services available? Like, if someone were to reach out to you, send you an email or phone call or social media, however, is there a program available or something where you would be willing and you're able to go into someone's home to assist them?
Absolutely. I do a lot of one-on-one clients. I have a senior who's coming back from Florida in about 2 weeks. I will be going to his home 3 times a week. Twice a week we do a more formalized exercise program. One of them is about strengthening and conditioning. The other one is about preventing falls. So I developed the program around his needs. And then the third program is really just to get him out. And I know it sounds silly, but I just get him out and we go for a walk. Yeah. Because he would not be able to get out otherwise if I didn't go and do that for him. His family is not there. He is alone, except for the PSWs that do come in. So there's nobody there for him to walk with. And not that you need somebody to walk with, but in his case, he can't walk on his own. He
right.
does need some assistance. So we take the urban poles and the two of us go for a walk. First, we'll start walking up and down the driveway. And then we'll venture a little further. We'll start walking off the driveway down to the neighbor's driveway. We'll go pet the dog down there. We'll come back to the house, have some tea, and then his PSW comes in after me. So yeah, there's lots of options. I do one-on-one work here in my studio as well. Okay. Some of the locations where I do teach, you can access my services as one-on-one through those facilities. So yeah, there's lots of ways to get to me. Which
is great. I think that's awesome. And like you mentioned, it promotes healthy lifestyle, which is what we're trying to do, right? We're focusing, I think what I'm seeing myself is as we're getting older and our demographics are aging up, we're not the typical 50, 60, 70, and 80s any longer, right? We're active and involved in lifestyles and activities outside of our home and interests that are keeping us young in heart and physically well.
Yeah, I say 80 is the new 60.
Glad to hear that. That makes me feel much better. For now, so because I work grief, loss, and what to do next, right? That's our hashtag. That's our, we want individuals to know there's ways to grieve healthy. Do you think yoga plays a big part in that yourself? Do you think being that sound mind and just that release, like you say, that 5 minutes, maybe when you wake up in the morning, when your brain is just at that point where everything's good in life, do you feel that those are things we should take into consideration?
I think, I mean, you know, I'm a yogi. I'm an old hippie, you know, I'm a yogi, so I love yoga.
I would never class you as that, but okay.
I love yoga. For me, it has been the healing in my life. It is the thing that has healed many of my clients. And it's through yoga that we are able to understand a little deeper sometimes the cycles of life, which means, you know, we do have to let go at some point. You know, we keep that person in our heart, in our souls. They're in our very cells, but their physical bodies aren't here anymore. And we allow that through yoga. We allow that process to happen in a natural. We understand that a little bit deeper, a little kinder, a little bit more compassionate. Meditation is a wonderful way to do that, and that again can be as simple as just sitting out on your back porch, taking a moment of the scene around you and being awed by the fact that we are in this amazing, well, we're here in Sudbury, this is an amazing city. We live in a beautiful country. You know, we have so much. We are so fortunate here. Yeah. So just taking that moment just to say, you know what, this is pretty cool. You know, for some people it might mean journaling. I'm not a journaler, but I have clients who do journal, and I guide them through that journaling process. You know, getting it out of your head. Okay. You know, having coffee with a good friend can be a really easy and beautiful way to heal as well. And just going through that grieving process, because we're at the point where we're starting to lose friends, and we know people who are losing their parents and spouses, and it's a bit of a transition. You know, it's a transition to life point.
And I personally have experience being in your studio, and I can say it's a very welcoming environment. No one's judging. It's very uplifting and enjoyable. So I personally, you know, would attest to that and say, yeah, like definitely, even if you're uncomfortable and you're not sure if you're a good fit, you're going to fit in fine. You just go and have fun and enjoy it and be part of a program that, like you say, helps your mental and physical well-being. Is there anything, Dawn, that you want to mention before we go off? And is there anything that you can think of that you feel you would like to bring to light?
I think it's really important to stay connected. I noticed that in my work with seniors, as they get further and further away from their work, and their families get a little bit older, and there's, you know, children are all off doing their own thing, and we often will find seniors with, you know, adult grandchildren and then great grandchildren. You know, the more isolated it is easy to become more and more isolated, and I think that's a very big detriment. I think mental health is a huge determinant in your physical health and disease process. So I think it's really important to stay connected. Live while you're alive. Get involved. You know, like sometimes we do have to push past our own insecurities and get out there. Because if it means, you know, your quality of life or life and death, then which would you rather choose? You know, we want to get off the couch, get away from, you know, being alone and in our own little world and out there in the community. And I think
that's very important. I think you hit it right on. That is so true. We need to, sometimes it's challenge ourselves.
Yeah, challenge yourself.
Just challenge yourself. Go and do it, and don't judge it. You don't know if you haven't tried it. And, you know, it's, I think it's great. Thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know you have an extremely busy schedule, but for spending a little bit of time and educating us on the programs here in our community in Greater Sudbury, also with yoga and mental health. And I do appreciate that very much. I will share all of Dawn's information as much as possible between Dragonfly Radio and our social media sites. In case you're interested, Google her. I mean, truthfully, Google, if you're tech savvy to that point, is definitely a good way to find Dawn and a lot of the programs she's actively involved here in Greater Sudbury, or reach out to her personally and she will definitely be able to assist you. So thank you, Dawn, for joining us. I appreciate that. And everyone else, thank you for listening with us or viewing today. And till next time, take care.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you.